Welcome back to 13 Folds Live on lemonadio.com. How's everybody out there doing tonight? Had little technical difficulties there for a minute. Sorry about that. But we're back and we have a special guest joining us tonight, Grammy ballot artist and songwriter, author of Permission to Create, Nate Jones. He's joining us tonight, and this interview is presented by Northeast Alternatives. Thank you guys, and we're sponsored by Wonderland Smoke Shop, Solar Therapeutics, and Kind Card. If you're not watching the stream live, go to 13 Folds Live and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can watch the interview live there right now. Um, Tonight, we got a bunch of stuff to discuss. Nate has been on a rampage since COVID has started. You've been a busy man even before this, but I mean, it seems like COVID sort of sparked your creativity. Um, so why don't you tell us a little about that, Nate? Where are you from, and how did you get into the music scene? And we'll start there.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for having me. My name is Nate Jones. You can check me out at www.natejones.world. I am from Warwick, Rhode Island, and I kind of have music in my veins. I'm a third generation drummer, and I have a lot of relatives that play music. George M. Cohane was a ancestor of mine, and he's like a pretty recognized and famous Rhode Island singer. And so for me, I didn't actually start, I played piano as a kid, but I didn't actually start playing guitar until the year 2012. So it
Okay.
was my sophomore year of college. And when that happened, I kind of just immediately fell into it and fell deeper and deeper into it. Went from having one guitar to having 18 guitars, I think is what I have now.
What's your
Um,
favorite to play?
my favorite guitar, probably my black guitar. Her name's Lucy, short for Lucifer, which I named it that because it means bearer of light, and I think that's a very cool way to describe what I'm trying to do with music. So she's the one I play at just about every public performance.
Nice.
Black with a mother of pearl diamond cutaway, just a beautiful guitar in general. But I have branched out since then and I play drums now, bass. I've always played piano, like I said, and I play the harmonica. So when COVID happened, it kind of put me in this place of not being sure of what to do on the side of things of, being an artist. Like, okay, I can't go perform shows anymore, but
No.
I was like, what am I going to do while I'm doing nothing? And I have to do something. I'm kind of a restless person. I can't really just sit around and do nothing and veg out.
Yeah,
So
and you know how to play every instrument.
yeah, so I had to put those skills to use somehow, and I started writing a lot more and filling in my arrangements on other instruments,
Nice.
like I did with the Grammy song with Safe as We Can. So what I've been working on is putting all of these songs that I've written, about 25 of them in total. I'm working on putting them together into a format. So just imagine here's the book, and on the first page of a chapter, you're going to see the lyrics, and then you'll see the song title, the lyrics, and then the chapter will begin. And the chapter is sort of a story. For most chapters, it's a story, and a lot of them are, well, all the stories are real stories from my life, but a lot of them relate directly to the themes of the song,
Yep.
or are stories that, a lot of songs I write, I don't really know what they're about. I just write them and they come to me, and then I notice them showing like their meaning
A
in my
theme.
real life. Yeah. So most of that sort kind of coordinates around the themes of mindfulness, kind of creativity, obviously permission to create. And
Yeah.
really, the main goal is to get people to take a deep look at what kind of art they're creating and ask themselves, like, is this really serving me? Because, you know, it wasn't easy when COVID completely wiped out our industry, but it was a chance to become better at other parts of my, job or other parts of my profession, to really hone in on certain things that I had been neglecting because I was performing sometimes 3 or 4 times a week all year long. And so it really gave me this chance to step back and work on those parts of myself
It's
so
an
that I,
opportunity to explore. Yeah.
yes, exactly, without going anywhere. And I have a I have a lot of respect for the process of writing a book now, because it's such an enormous undertaking. And if I didn't have the amazing team I do, I'm partnered with Georgetown University to
Nice.
produce it. So if I didn't have that team support and the editors and things, part of the publishing team, is it's really like been so fundamental in helping me understand how I can tell my story by getting better at writing
The
stories. And that's in
process.
turn helped my songwriting. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all connected.
And that's it. A lot of us. I mean, I've done both. I've created a lot during COVID, but at the same time, I went through a period where the isolation got to me for a while, and I couldn't create. And it's hard. It's different than when you wake up in the morning and you go to work every day, or you have your schedule and your routine, as opposed to getting up and not being able to go anywhere or do anything, and you have to find a way to self motivate and create, and what you're doing is there's a lot to say for being able to accomplish it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I came across a quote probably about a year ago, which is that when you're working for yourself, you're always working, or something along those lines. And it's very true. Like, from the moment I wake up, I have a policy: when I wake up, I don't look at my phone until I've written in my journal. And I've been doing that for about 2 years. And it's honestly like so good for my health. Like, I believe just all around the board, because there's so many times where I've, woken up and been like, oh, damn, I'm immediately just in my phone on Facebook for an
Yeah.
hour, or even if it's 20 minutes, my eyes haven't adjusted. I haven't even stood up and I'm on social media. So that hasn't happened
I have the
in a
same
couple
kind of policy, but it revolves around weed.
Hey, if you find that it's a medicine that works for you, that's what's important. And I think that part of my message and permission to create is I actually detail a lot of my experiences with cannabis, with mushrooms, with other plant medicines, including, I was privileged enough to experience ayahuasca and San Pedro last summer and become involved in the community that runs ceremonies as well as providing music for the retreats.
Oh,
And
awesome.
it's really helped me deepen my respect, for treating these things as the sacrament that they are, as saying, I'm signing a contract with a plant here. Like, I'm putting my faith in the intelligence of this organism
Yeah.
to help me live my life in a more relaxed, better oriented, more grateful kind of way. So if that, like, for me, I don't drink coffee, but I know some people that think they worship coffee and it really
Yeah.
works for them. I think that's radical.
Yeah. What you know what? You were talking about the retreats. Where's the coolest place that you've been outside the country?
Uh, wow. I think it's a toss up. I'm probably going to have to say Machu Picchu.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um, Machu Picchu is so incredible. Just the sheer, uh, well, not just beauty, but it's almost overwhelming because you're in disbelief that something like this could actually be achieved in terms of architecture and physics. You're like, how did they do this? And it Peru in general is very, very special place. There's a lot of spiritual energy there, and a lot of people respecting the land for what it gives them. Like Peru, a lot of the terrain is so rugged that it's impossible to actually get to certain places. So much of it is preserved and wild.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
being a
different
top
than here.
yeah, very. I mean, well, you see, certain parts of Peru, like Lima, the whole city is very metropolitan. You would think that you were in, like Buenos Aires or something like that. It's a very bustling city. Um, but then you go to a place like Aguascalientes, which is the little town you have to pass through to get to Machu Picchu. And like I was sleeping in my hostel, uh, which was basically just like a hotel. And then I realized this construction is kind of loud. Then I was like, wait a second, it's 11 p.m. And I'm like, wait a second, there aren't even any walls on this building that I'm in. I'm just like in a room in the middle of this like concourse patio. It was ridiculous. So you really get an appreciation for the comforts of, like say what you want about our country, but we really do have an incredible standard of living, and I really appreciated that when I went there.
Now, when you're writing your music, there's a lot of that how much of that is inspired by these different places that you go to and that you get to visit. How much of that do you bring back into your music?
Um, wow, I would say it's almost impossible for it to not leach into my creative pursuits. Like I also like to paint a lot. A couple of the things on the wall behind me, I painted, but I think that with my songs, there's anything that I experience is stored right in the subconscious, and I think songwriting is an opportunity to take a deep dive into the subconscious and see what you find there. And I'm noticing that most of the themes of my music tend to revolve around taking your life into your own hands, appreciating what you have, refusing to tolerate things that you see as wrong, standing up for yourself, standing up for others. And I think that what I'm realizing is the places I've been, it's not that I'm really like I think of a song like Country Roads, and there's so much good landscape imagery in that song, and I really really love the way John Denver did that. But then when you think about my songs compared to that, there isn't a ton of landscape imagery. It's more symbolism. And
Yeah.
one of the songs that I sent to the radio station, Maple Leaf, is kind of a song about that interbeing. So this place, Blue Cliff Monastery in New York, has greatly impacted my songwriting because it's a Zen Buddhist monastery, and basically every moment there is just magical. Even the mundane moments, like doing chores, is really magical. And I would say that it's the energy of the people in a particular place I go that ends up resonating with me most, that ends up pouring back into my
Yeah.
songwriting.
I always find that too. Traveling, it's always the people you interact with that make the adventure, I remember more people that I met out and beyond than the places that I was actually at with those people.
Hmm.
That's where the real good memories come from. So you know what? Let's start off. Let's play Maple Leaf and get some music playing so people can hear you, and we'll be right back with more Nate Jones on 13 Folds Radio on lemonadio.com.
Fall River, Mass. Now serving adults 21 plus from all states with a valid ID. Visit their shop at 999 William S. Canning Boulevard, Fall River, Mass. Or visit their website at anyalternatives.com to see their full menu.
I am a maple leaf dancing in the wind. I am the raindrop cleansing my skin. I am a snowflake taking a shape I've never seen. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am the sunshine lighting up my days. I am the bluebird singing my praise. I am a servant like the mighty evergreen. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am a mountain reaching for the sky. I am a falcon flying so high. I am the river rushing gently down the stream. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am a spider weaving the web of interbeing. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am a seeker wondering what it all could mean. I am all these things colliding in a dream. I am all these things colliding in a dream. We are all these things colliding in a dream. All this wasted time and all these wasted lives, they paint a picture picture of you. Take away my pride, nowhere left to hide. It's my commitment to you. Now I know it can't be wrong to sing my song. Now you know it can't be wrong to sing your song. All that's said and done makes me want to run far away from here and all your fear. Now I know it can't be wrong to sing my song. Now you know it can't be wrong to sing your song.
Welcome back to 13 Folds Live on lemonadio.com. Sponsored by Solar Therapeutics, Kind Card, Wonderland Smoke Shop, and presented to you by Northeast Alternatives, the most award-winning dispensary in Massachusetts. We're back with Nate Jones, and that song was Can't Be Wrong.
That's right.
Now, tell us a little bit about that one. You know, what was the inspiration behind that song?
So that was a song that I started writing probably 3 or 4 years ago. And what really how it came about was me just practicing with the harmonica holder and that harmonica in the key of A. So for any guitarists out there, I'm playing a G, but I have a capo on the 3rd fret and the guitar is 1/2 step down. So playing a G is like playing an A, and the harmonica goes along with that. And I was exploring sort of scales and relationships on the harmonica with the guitar. And the emotion that that harmonica created for me opened up this like lyrical doorway. And that's how I kind of arrived at the feeling of the song and the words. I don't know, just all this wasted time. It kind of just came to me and flowed. And I noticed that there was a theme building up in the song. And to me, it means, well, it'll mean different things to different people, and I want it to. But to me, it is exploring the question of, should I be unleashing my true self? Should I be pursuing exactly what it is I want down to a T in my life, knowing that it is possible to really get everything you've ever wanted if you work for it to a certain degree? Am I willing to put myself out there? Can it be wrong to sing my song? I guess is the question. And I'm coming to an awareness that I know that it can't be wrong to sing my song. So yeah, that's kind of that, if
Nice.
that
Now,
makes sense.
now this song's going to be part of the. Well, let's explain it to people because I don't think we really explained the the, the music portion of the book that you're writing. Where I know you're going to have the lyrics and everything, but are you going to have like a way for people to do a QR code or something at the chapter and be able to listen to the music while they're reading or?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I wanted there to be some way for people to interact with the music or access the music from physically within the book. And so it's almost like if I were to post the music on my website, then there it is. But if I were to put the music in the book through a QR code link, then you would need to have that page to physically scan the code to get to the playlist to hear the music.
Yeah.
And I probably will. I'm not sure if I'll keep it that way until the book is published in August, but probably till the end of the pre-sale campaign, I'll have it that way so that people can, because what I'm trying to do is if you imagine like CDs and vinyl, they had this inherent value because it's a physical item.
It's tangible.
It's scarce, right? It's tangible and it can be scarce. So an online link that is just there, it's basically, and this is for people out there listening, like kind of from the lens of a musician and songwriter, the royalties for streaming and all these things are really not fair at all. And it adds up to pennies unless you have millions. So the best way for artists to leverage their power is to present something that's like scarce. It's sort of like what cryptocurrency is doing on some level. Like artists are trying to disrupt the power of these giant music companies.
Well,
And so
artists
what I'm trying
make so much more off a CD sale at a live event than they'll see over the course of a decade coming in through royalties and such like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
and
go
I'm
support
trying
your
to,
local artists, guys. Buy a CD when you're there watching the
Yeah.
show.
well, I just realized that, for my birthday this year, I'm gonna throw a special kind of like virtual music birthday party, and people can show up and just like give me gifts. And
Virtually?
the gift is a donation towards the music because I want to make it available to people. So the format of the book is essentially a way to draw people into the book by putting the music in there and putting the lyrics there, because a lot of people really value having lyrics and having a physical tangible item like an album sleeve or something. But then I've really reframed my whole approach to the story, because when I first began writing the book, I was assigned a developmental editor through Georgetown, and she helped me understand that it's more important for people to relate to how I was feeling in my experiences than it is for them to understand the actual A's, B's, and C's of what I did. So I completely reframed my approach from nonfiction at the beginning of this book to, not like, hey, I'm Nate Jones, here's what I know because of what I've done. It's more like, hey, here are the stories. Here are the crazy experiences that I've been through as a musician and traveler that have shaped this worldview and thus resulted in these songs. And here's how this is all interconnected, because that's the principle I'm trying to display.
Yeah.
So that people will start embracing their own authentic power more, because people have been giving their authority away to authority figures to like tell them what's right, what's true, what's doable, what's not doable. And I think people deserve to feel re-empowered to create art in a way that is most authentic to them and in a way that makes them feel good. Because quite frankly, if your art is making you feel shitty, excuse my language, I don't think it's worth doing.
No, no, you're 100% right. It, it's funny because I feel like when movies almost do that same thing, they kind of take away your power. That's why I appreciate the fact that you're doing a book, because I always enjoyed reading books more growing up because I would imagine way cooler stuff than anything they ever showed me on the movie screen. I mean, nowadays they show you some, it's a little different now, but back growing up, it was like really your imagination was the limit. And they would show you stuff on TV and redo it. Like I remember the first time they made it, the made for TV series. Remember that? And I was so disappointed in it because like what I envisioned was so much scarier. And like
Right. Yeah. I see
so
what you're saying.
so being able to go to that format and use that vehicle to express yourself, I think that's I think putting that along with music, it's like a total exploration of all the senses. You know, so I'm
Ooh,
interested to see how people respond to this because I like the concept.
thank you. And I enjoy the analogy that you just presented there. Like, it's a complete sensory experience. Like, maybe I'll have to put some scratch and sniffs on the pages. This is what Machu Picchu smelled like, guys. Oh
Well,
shit.
you're doing the artwork, you know, do some artwork, throw it in there. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure they still have those scented markers. You need a
So
Mount
so
Wilderness.
at the beginning, right? At the beginning, I had this idea, and this is like how this whole thing has evolved. Is at the beginning, I had this idea to partner with a bunch of artists and do album artwork for each song and each chapter as a way to like spread our community growth and everything like that. And like what I really feel is that although that's a great idea, people kept telling me like, no, it should be you. It should be the dimensions of you, the
Yeah.
different sensory
I was just gonna ask,
exploration
like,
there.
like publisher telling you what you can and can't do. Any of it.
Can you say that again, Jess?
What was it like working with a publisher? Were there restrictions?
Oh.
Tell you
Oh,
what you can and can't do? Like, how was that?
so no, you know what? The publisher is really, really awesome. I was basically, it's been a series of really odd coincidences and things that have led me down this road. But the working with the publisher has been interesting because on the one hand, they have requirements. It's almost like working with a record label where yeah, they're like doing all these things for you and providing you with these networked and experts, and you're in meetings with like these, like bigwig people. And but then at the same time, they're at your service, like they're your team. So you just kind of go from like regular person in your life to like boss of a team of people doing like what fulfilling the roles of your project. So it's really interesting. It's kind of a challenge, like and I obviously like a challenge, but it's tough to keep everything in perspective of this period of crunch time where I'm launching the pre-sale campaign on Friday. I need to basically think more long term and realize that I'm going to be doing launch events as things start opening back up again, and I'm going to be doing speaking events and doing partnerships with like local bookstores and national bookstores. And the team at my publisher has been really encouraging. They've really been helping me see the uniqueness of what I'm doing and how to best position it as something viable where people in the literary world can get a hold of it because it's like, here it is, it's a book. And people in the music world are like, hey, like Nate Jones, Grammy ballad artist, like putting his songs in a book. That's a cool idea. So the feedback I've received from the other authors that are publishing with the same publisher have been really good. And we've been doing networking, and we've had like meetings with the CEO of Netflix, like meetings with all these famous influencers and thought leaders and, artists, poets, business people, just public figures. And they've really provided a very vast mosaic of experiences for us to draw from anyone writing a book in a particular category. So there's like a couple strategies and tactics that I feel well armed with, knowing that like they're on my side, ready to help me and act as if I can basically say that they're representing me when I approach Barnes and Noble or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
It definitely opens up a lot of doors, and it's not the way I run things with my it's definitely not a weed magazine. We wake up in the morning, we're like, wow, we haven't had a meeting in like 3 weeks, man. we should find out if we still have any writers.
Yeah. I mean, the online space has really changed the dimensions of this sort of work too. And I think that's why it's so important to keep evolving the mediums so that people who have resources, can take advantage of like the skills they already have. Whereas like for me, I knew that like all I have to do is sit in front of a computer and type like 40,000 words. Sounds like a lot, but I did it in like 3.5 months. It was actually kind of a breeze because it's this difference. What you said about movies is perfect, right? Because in a movie, if someone were to come and just film me living my life, all I have to do is kind of keep being me. And then off camera, I can just kind of do whatever. But with a book, you just have to sit there, and you just have to sit there with your own thoughts about your own life and your feelings and just be like, oh shit. And I'm pouring my heart out onto these pages. So it's this process of excavating and digging deep to see like, what am I really made of? How can I take people on a complete literary journey from like the beginning? I'm ordering the songs in chronological order of when they were written. So you see my evolution as a person and as a songwriter. And I think that's what's most key. And that's probably what gets captured in a book in a way that leaves it up for interpretation, as you said, to the reader.
And you also have to do a lot of soul searching when you're writing about your own experiences. And like you said, you're trying to relay your feelings and emotions to a reader. And sometimes we don't even understand those experiences and emotions, if you know what I'm saying. So there's things that may have happened in your life, years ago that you're writing about, and you're older and you're wiser now, and you can look at that situation and interpret it in a completely different manner now. And, it's a growth cycle. The creative process, whether it be music, art, or writing, I feel is a therapeutic message. It's a therapeutic process to all artists.
Yeah, that's so true, because it just takes you from point A to point B. And as I look back over my journals from each morning over the past 2.5 years of my life, I have a stack of like 9 or 10 composition notebooks. And it's just like a lot of what's in my book is based on me having gone back through my old writings and seen where I was at when I'm telling different stories, so that I kind of have a reference point of what really stood out to me. And I think it's like a very healthy practice in general to keep a journal, because writing is like journaling at least is taking this one part process of thinking and then breaking it down into a 4-part process of your thinking, then you're writing, then you're reading what you just wrote, and then later you read it again, like after time has passed. So it's just a complete expansion of that
Yeah.
process of self-reflection.
I
Like,
agree. Journals are key. I don't keep one for legal reasons, but I get it.
Don't want evidence.
Let-
Don't want
let's just say,
against you.
yeah, if my journals got out there, there'd be some
Some misplaced-
repercussions too. But no, what's really cool is I've actually been informed that whatever I say in this book is essentially treated like a memoir. So I can discuss the experiences I've had with plant medicine, regardless of like the gray area of legality, because some places are decriminalizing psychedelics. There's incredible cancer research going on. So
Yeah.
there's like a whole different spectrum of things that I talk about in my book, of literally accessing other dimensions of my psyche and my humanness through altered states of consciousness. And the reflection that comes through music with that is really like a big deal. It's kind of the biggest deal of all the deals that there are, because nothing supersedes your immediate felt experience. So when that changes and becomes completely unrecognizable to the other 99% of your life, it leaves you with a profound sense that you actually don't know nearly as much as you think you know. And yeah, and the way I see it, people are on podcasts discussing all this sorts of stuff. So the best way to understand this and to be as safe as we can, haha, no pun intended, is to understand what we're doing with these medicines, how these plants affect the brain, the body, and the general, emotional experience of human beings, and how we can use them to our advantage, like we've done with every other substance that we've come across and used it for our advancement. It just takes bringing them into the conversation. And I think it's the most important conversation to have, because they literally promote neuroplasticity and brain growth so that we can make better decisions across the board.
And this
So I
stuff
think-
literally grows on trees.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's that too. Right.
Everybody has access to it, man, and it's better to understand it than to be afraid of it. That's what I say about everything.
Absolutely.
So
I
listen,
can't-
actually, let's play Safe as We Can. I got that lined up, and listen to a couple more songs, and then let's come back and we can talk. You know what? We can talk as long as we need, man. I'm having fun. This is a good conversation. So
Awesome.
So yeah, stick around. We'll be right back. You're listening to 13 Folds live on lemonadio.com. Wonderland Smoke Shop carries all of your e-cig, hookah, and tobacco products, as well as an assortment of imported and fine cigars. There is also a vast selection of rigs, mods, and glass for the connoisseur in you. Wonderland is a great smoke shop for all of your needs. With great prices, great service, and family atmosphere. From special orders to new products, their honest and trustworthy staff will exceed all your expectations. Visit Wonderland Smoke Shop in Warwick, Rhode Island at 666 East Ave. Don't forget to follow them on Facebook and tell them 13 Folds sent you.
Something about you's got me going insane, and I can't seem to find my way. Seems until now I've been stuck in the clouds, but it's time for a sunny day. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Come wise to your clever disguise. So I put our love on layaway, safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Walking on eggshells and talking with dead spells, feeling you slip away. Quietly moving, it seemed we were grooving. Now you have nothing to say. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Something about you's got me going insane, and I can't seem to find my way. It seems until now I was stuck in the clouds, but it's time for a sunny day. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we can. Safe as we can, let's be as safe as we can, safe as we can, safe as we My life has always been an organic song. My life has always been an organic song that I sing along. I sing along. People in your past may have done you wrong, living life too fast, trying to be strong. Try and make it last, you're right where you belong. Just sing along. Just sing along. It doesn't matter how, you will find a way. The universe is ours, and it's here to stay. We've all got the power, and we're here to play. Just sing along. Just sing along. Just sing along. Just sing along. Well, I just gotta step back from myself and catch my breath. People all around this planet, we must not forget that we live in a society of changes. We're all living for that wild feeling of agelessness. My life has always been an organic song. My life has always been an organic song, and I sing alone, alone. I sing alone, alone. Just sing alone, alone. Just sing along, alone. My life has always been an organic song.
Welcome back to 13 Folds live on lemonadio.com. Another shout out to our sponsors. I want to get it out of the way. I wish you would read our sponsors. I get sidetracked. No, but thank you, Northeast Alternatives, guys. We appreciate everything you've done for the radio show, for the magazine, which, by the way, we do have another magazine coming out on 4/20. Actually, we're going to be broadcasting live once again from the parlor, actual musicians on stage. We'll have to get you back on for one of those shows, have you come up to Providence and perform on stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we're doing it you know, it's a closed room right now with just us and the stage, but it's at a venue, and it's going to be good to be in a live environment, even though there's not going to be people there. And, you know, we're just prepping up because we're hoping that things open up, you know, and people can start coming out and enjoying themselves after everybody gets vaccinated. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll be able to keep rolling with it after 4/20. But, you know, it's changed a lot. COVID has changed a lot about how everybody does things now. And it's like you were just talking about it during the break. We were talking about even social media is kind of changing, where they have that new Clubhouse, which I just joined yesterday because all my friends have been bugging me for months. You got to join Clubhouse. You got to join Clubhouse. So I just joined.
Yeah, today was the first day I ever heard of it.
And I have no idea what I'm doing. I get pinged all the time. I'm sitting around and somebody pings me. I click on it and there's a bunch of people talking and I'm like, what are we talking about? But you were telling, so what's the whole Clubhouse thing? Because you were saying you've been using it, right?
Yeah, so it's a really cool app. It's currently only for iPhones because they haven't developed a version of it for Android yet. But it is really changing social media because what it's doing is presenting live audio conversations. So everyone has a little icon of their headshot, like their picture. And like, whoop, I just got one popping up right now. The Science of Purpose. Rick Doblin, MAPS founder, is in a room with somebody. So MAPS is a multidisciplinary applied psychedelic studies.
Oh,
so
nice.
Pretty cool. And so basically people of all different walks of life come together and start rooms that either meet weekly or are just kind of pop-up rooms. And if you have anyone who follows you, like say you have a lot of followers, you can ping someone into a room, all of your followers.
Okay.
And if they're free, they can join the conversation. And if you're just invited you can invite it to be a moderator, and then you're basically just giving people the opportunity to speak and leading the discussion. Or you can like just raise your hand if you're just some random person in a room, but you're like, hey, this topic is interesting to me. Like I talked to a couple indie music label executives the other day, just like talent buyers, all different types of people. So it's really powerful for leveraging a network. Like
Nice.
it'll connect you with all the people in your phone that are already on Clubhouse, and it'll just basically help you branch out, and you can select exact topics that you want to discuss on there and get highly specific. And you know what I love is under the wellness category, they even have a specific branch for talking about psychedelics and psychedelic medicines. Like, and it's under wellness, and I'm like, yes, this
Yeah,
is a
that's
good.
things have changed since the Reagan era.
Yeah,
um
absolutely.
so
It's gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
so so you got this coming out. You're doing pre-sales on Friday, or starting Friday, you're doing pre-sales?
Yes. So for anybody watching live right now, if you come back to this video on Friday, you may see it from my page as well. The link will be there to my crowdsourcing campaign for the initial pre-sale effort for my book. So basically, you'll be able to order starting on Friday, April 2nd. You'll be able to order a physical copy of the book. And the pre-sale only lasts for 30 days, so it's very, very important. The team gave us numbers, and they said that 80% of pre-sale efforts self fund themselves within the necessary amount of time if they receive at least 30% or more of their support within the first week. So
Nice.
that's the goal, is like 30%. So there'll be different options and different perks offered where I'm going to be giving people custom videos of like a, hey, here's me taking a video playing a song for you, and that's offered as a perk in exchange for a donation or a pre-order. Like if you can't or if you don't want to purchase anything in the pre-order, you can simply make a donation of whatever amount you see fit. But there'll be like bigger and bigger packages, including like, you know, like VIP concert experiences, like house parties, like whatever. So I'm really gonna be ramping up the perks for people.
And what's the price range that that these packages pre-order or
so
your packages? What are your price ranges?
So you'll be able to pre-order my ebook for $15.
All
And if you pre-order that book, the ebook, you will also get your name in an acknowledgement section in the book saying that you helped me bring this creative project to life.
That's cool.
And in addition to that, if you purchase a physical paperback copy, you'll get a personal thank you note from me. You'll get a signed copy of the book, so I'll actually autograph it and like leave you a little message. And you'll also get your name in that acknowledgement section, and you'll get to read. Anyone that contributes to the campaign will get to read the introduction before it's published ahead of time. So there's like several perks as well. And then I'm going to have an option, probably about $20 more, where I include a personal video of any song that you want me to play, whether it's one of mine, and that'll be like an add-on perk. And then it'll go up as
cool.
I
So you can
approach
request
book.
You can request what
Yeah.
song. That's cool.
Oh,
Dude,
absolutely.
you should do like for $1,000, you will come to the house and
And just play all
perform the
day
song
long.
right there. You kiss the baby.
You need more than one song though. You got to do at least more than one song for $1,000.
For oh yeah,
You got to
$1,000.
like spend the day there.
Well, I don't know about
Yeah.
a day. You might end up with some weirdos. You might get catfished.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like it's limiting things because there were going to be VIP tickets to the launch party.
Yeah.
And the launch party, was going to have like a separate kind of like VIP circle afterwards, which is something that I'm going to offer to conferences and different organizations that I go and give a book talk and speak at. And additionally, like I'll be bringing my guitar as well to include like the kind of song, like songwriters story time essentially. And that'll kind of be looped in with the talk about the book. There was a woman that was mentioned in Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. He mentioned this woman in his book, The Success Principle, by the name of, her name's Jana Stanfield, and she actually pioneered the industry of, her company was called Keynote Concerts. And she would basically infuse her motivational talks with her music. And she started doing all these really, really cool trips, and she called it volunteering. And they would travel around the world bringing, not just physical assistance like Habitat for Humanities, but bringing the gift of music as well wherever they went. And I actually got to interview her one-on-one, and kind of, we're like, she texted me and invited me to this songwriters workshop. So it's really amazing how this book has presented me with an opportunity to just like reach out and grab things that are like right there to experience, and then help that, use that to help deliver something to the people that is really worth something, like that will actually be art that will help you transform yourself, your life, that will help you embrace your creativity more, because the subtitle, it's Permission to Create, Embrace Your Art, and Unleash Your True Potential. And I left out the words how to for a reason, because we talked about this with the publisher. It's not a how-to book. It's a
inspirational book.
Exactly. It's a true story. So it's like, you could call it how to because, here's the how and it worked, but you could also just relate that to your own experiences and try to draw parallels and see where you might be shortchanging yourself or not going for something that you really know you could do just because of, giving that authority, that creative authority away to celebrities or idols or people you regard as the talented ones, and like you're just not. But I think that's, just like one of the many myths of our culture.
Well, it's, what? I think everybody has the ability to be creative in one way or another. And it's not always the same for each person. It's just, we live in a society right now where it's so difficult to take the time away to be creative, because we're, especially in America, like we're nonstop to the grind, 24/7, 7 days a week. It never ends. It seems like you have to force yourself to make time to create if you want to do it, and it gets tough. We get lost in the routine of daily life.
I know I do.
So
yeah,
I know
that's true.
I know you were saying something about, there's a chapter in this or a story that you tell in the book about being on the Grammy ballot. And it had to do with one of my favorite artists, actually, Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us a little bit about that story and how that all came about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have this theory that when you write down certain words, or you write down certain phrases, or you put certain images in front of you, like like I've done here with the tropical wall or with vision boards, you start attracting those things. And it's not necessarily my personal theory, but I actually believe that vision boarding is like a very cool way to start practicing the law of attraction, rather than just like speaking infinite, like I am wealthy, I'm this.
It creates an energy.
Yeah, it does. And then you look at it and you absorb it, and you sort of magnetize what that energy is, and you attract it. So I put Paul McCartney, like I put a little cutout of the Beatles on one of my vision boards, and I put like the words amazing venues under it. And then a couple months later, I was on tour with this band from Boston, the Big Lonesome, and I was at a Whole Foods in South Carolina making myself a big, delicious vegan salad. And I got a phone call from this guy, Al Gomes, who went to elementary school with my mom. And I had known that he was, a music industry person, but I didn't really know the extent of what he did. So it turns out he won a Grammy in 2016 with Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, working on some of their music. And so I'm pretty sure that, working with him, like I would have had no awareness of this opportunity. So he called me and was like, I've heard about what you've been doing. Like, do you have any of your own music? And I said, yes. And Safe as We Can was one of these like demo songs from my home studio.
Nice.
And so I sent him like a rough demo of it. He like played it for a bunch of different people and like they did like focus groups. And then it was like, okay, yeah, this one's the best out of what you've sent in. So then I worked on it and recorded it over about 5 weeks. And when it was done, his organization submitted it to the Recording Academy. And just for some like kind of info about how that works, I believe there's 180 categories. And there's anywhere between 30 to 80,000 submissions.
Oh, wow.
That are
Yeah, that's a lot.
here. So each category has a different number of spots on its ballot.
Okay.
Because there's different saturation levels. So Safe as We Can ended up being on the ballot for Best Rock Song. And in connection with the music video I made with it, that qualified it for the ballot for Best Rock Performance too.
Nice.
And it was voted ballot. And on Best Rock Performance, I believe it was one or the other. I'll never forget. Like, you know what? Let me show you something. Right here, I have a piece of paper. This is my National Grid electricity bill. I keep it under my record player. This is where I was writing all the lists of artists that were on the ballot with me.
Papa Roach and Paul McCartney.
Papa Roach, Blink-182, Black Keys, and I was just standing there completely in disbelief, and I had to take a lap around my house when I hung up the phone. Al called me and he was just like, he's like, "Hey Nate," and I was like, "Oh hey," and he's like, he paused and then he was like, "We did it," and I just couldn't believe it at first. And it took me on this mental journey. And then when I went to Peru to visit my best friend, Alex, who was living there at the time, it turned out that I was going to find out on November 20th, my last day there, if I was going to Los Angeles or not for the Grammy Awards, like if it was going to be in the top 5.
Nice.
So I was like, I had no idea. Like, I was like, is my life about to just radically change right now? And then it like totally didn't, because I, didn't get the invite to Los Angeles, which I didn't expect to.
Yeah.
And it helped reorient me back to
reel you back in.
Yeah.
But it's like, still just to even be mentioned on the same thing,
Right.
Same ballot with all those guys, be in the same room with people thinking, comparing you to them. That's an accomplishment in itself.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think it really just comes down to, like, I know that if I sat down and had a conversation with Paul McCartney, I know I would be like geeking out. I would be really excited. But I also know that Paul McCartney is just like me. He's just like a guy who likes music, plays music, like, enjoys talking about music. Like, he's just a person and I'm just a person. So the permission to create thing is kind of like, hey, you don't have to be someone that society like deems as special to do this, because like that's how people like get there in the first place,
Yeah.
Like I remember
Paul McCartney was a nobody at one point.
Yeah. And I remember like 2 months ago, my dad sent me a video of the Black Keys, and it was Little Black Submarines. I love that song.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the stage that they're playing on, and like I couldn't really see what the backdrop was, and I was focusing on the drummer, Pat, just watching him play. And then I noticed, like, wait a second, holy crap! Like I've played on that stage.
Same stage.
And I was just like, whoa. And it was at Springwater Supper Club in Nashville, Tennessee. And that was another moment where I was like, it helped reel me back in. Like, yep, we're all just people like living in the same world, like playing the same instruments. Like, you know, I think people should start approaching music from the perspective of like personal experience and, you know, excavating what's within you and developing a relationship with an instrument that allows you to start expressing yourself more clearly. Because if you can't express yourself to yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to express yourself to society or your friends and family, because you're not doing the work to truly know yourself if you're just like covering up these parts of yourself. And whether it's music or art in general, I think both are valuable, but you know, the voice is just really its own thing. It's so powerful. I think that's why I believe so much, because I used to think I couldn't sing. Like I remember sitting there with the guitar, like, oh man, if only I could sing, then like everything would be great. And you know, here
tambourine
I am, so.
could be the solution to happiness for many people. It's easy to play.
Yeah.
You can get into a good rhythm. You can play it on almost any drug.
Yep.
I have a flute here, and you know, this is pretty fun. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear this, but it's a Native American flute. Actually, a friend of mine that I met through the medicine community made this, and I bought it at a fundraiser.
Cool.
It's just a really relaxing sound and doesn't take that much effort to play. So there's so many ways to play with sound and manipulate it in a way that enhances your experience of life, because sound can really make or break like literally any experience. So that's like why it's so powerful over us.
So explore it all. Explore
Right.
everything. Touch everything.
Yeah.
I mean, don't put your mouth on everything.
I mean,
but
you can taste stuff. You can taste it.
But,
You know, one of my favorite experiences in my whole life was last summer. My mom and I hung out for the entire day, and like my dad's a drummer, and I'm a drummer too, obviously. But my mom doesn't really play, but like she every now and then will just like bang on them with me, and I really enjoy that. And she was just like, this one time she was just really going hard, and I was dancing, and then I suddenly was like, oh, I should pick up the guitar and play. And we just jammed so hard, and I was like seeing her experience of experiencing a new thing, and just the genuine joy from the novelty of a new experience that just is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like playing rock and roll at absurd volumes.
You can see it wash over people when it finally hits them. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
So
let's
that
take
was
another quick break. I got a couple more songs, and then we're gonna come back. I want to talk a little bit more about the book, and just some general bullshit. Give people a little insight into what's in the brain.
Cool.
What's
All right.
in the
Yeah.
brain of Nate Jones? What dark secrets does he have stored there for us to unlock here on 13 Folds Live on lemonadio.com? We'll be right back. Solar Therapeutics, America's first energy-independent cannabis cultivation and retail facility based in Somerset, Mass., is the state's premier adult-use marijuana supplier. Unlike any cannabis manufacturing facility in the country, Solar's production architecture is centered around its innovative design that utilizes green infrastructure and microgrid assets to decrease its overall carbon emissions. These green concepts enable Solar to produce sustainable cannabis both by lowering its overall energy profile as well as by generating all of its own clean power.
To learn more about solar or order products online, visit solarthera.com.
Lemonadio.
Did you ever hear of anyone smoking dried mushrooms? What? Oh, nothing. Skip it.
Providing relief from dry mouth since 2020.
Tell me who it is, damn it. You got 5 seconds to tell me who the hell this is.
Lemonadio.
I don't need to write this down. It lives inside of me. I don't need to write this down. It lives inside of me. Yeah. We don't need to write this down. It lives inside of us. We don't need to write this down. It lives inside of us. Get on the bus. 'Cause I'm a teacher, I'm a preacher, just singing my songs, hoping everybody will sing along. Yeah, I will meet ya, I will greet ya, somewhere in between reality and my sacred dream. But you gotta be strong, you gotta be wise, you gotta be willing to compromise. You gotta be bold, you gotta be kind, gotta be the one thing you can't find. We gotta have faith, we gotta stand tall, gotta believe we can move that wall inside of us. Just get on the bus. We don't need to write this down. It lives inside of us. We don't need to write this down. No, no, no. It lives inside of us. Just get on the bus. 'Cause we're all teachers, we're all preachers, just singing our songs, hoping everybody will sing along. We will meet ya, we will greet ya, somewhere in between reality and our sacred dream. But we gotta be strong, we gotta be wise, we gotta be willing to compromise. We gotta be bold, we gotta be kind, gotta be the one thing we can't find. We gotta have faith, we gotta stand tall, gotta believe we can move that wall inside of us. Just get on the bus. We don't need to write this down. No, no, no. It lives inside of us. We don't need to write this down. No, no, no. It lives inside of us. Yeah. Back to your fairy tale, that's where I'm sending you now. You can't escape the truth, that's why you're feeling blue now. People walk around with shackles on their hearts, Seems they're going through their lives just reading off the cards, but I will fly. I will touch the sky and I will die, but first I'll fly. You will see me in the nether days of our lives. Put down your gossip books and look up at the stars. The only moment that we have is where we are. Have no fear for what is lost and what is found. Everybody's hopes and dreams come crashing to the ground, but I will fly. I will touch the sky and I will die. First I'll fly. You will see me in the nether days of our lives.
Welcome back to 13 Folds Live on lemonadio.com. And we are still here with Nate Jones. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, you know, the book, the music, talking about the experiences in the art. I think that you've definitely seemed to thrive in the COVID and through the COVID pandemic. It seems like you've really taken control of it and did well, you know, with the lockdown and you're producing a lot of nice stuff. How do you feel about playing out again though? Once COVID's done, like, do you feel safe going out and playing in front of people again?
So here's what I'll say about that. I have to thank my amazing support system. You know, my family and friends are always, you know, they see my enthusiasm and they support what I do, and I really appreciate that. You know, I definitely, how can I say this? When it first happened and we were told it was going to be 2 weeks to a month, I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just use the time. It'll be great. Like, no big deal. We got to be like safe as we can, right? Like, and then as time has gone on and I've watched like other parts of the world like reopen and start to, you know, everyone's handling things differently. So my perspective on this has been to do what I have to do to keep the lights on and the water flowing, and this roof over my head. So I played virtually no live shows for a while, but I did play all last summer. I played at the Tipsy Seagull in Fall River.
Yeah.
I played
I live right near there. I
played-
love that place.
yeah, I played at many different places, and I'll be there again Tuesdays this summer. But you know, just following all the protocols and saying, okay, like, if these are the hoops I have to jump through to like live life in a way that I can pay my bills and it's functional for me, then like I'll do it. And again, like, the feeling of thriving is something that I've been working on in my life in general, even before COVID. And I think a lot of the people in the community, that like the medicine community, as well as the musicians and artist community, uh, we're just we're very resourceful, and we're not afraid to hustle to make things happen for
Yeah.
ourselves. And so there have been some moments that have been difficult, and where I thought like, wow, what the heck is going to happen? How am I going to survive and thrive doing, I'm give up. I'm not going to just go get some job. Like
Yeah.
this is going to be happening. So I played live shows. I collected donations. I had the idea for the book at the end of the summer, and then it just started happening. And I think that thriving is really this mindset I'm working on achieving, because COVID really just showed us that we can't take things for granted, that we are a lot more resourceful than we think we are when
When you
the
have to.
entire world changes in a way that, it's never going to be the same. You're going to have to adapt. And I think that's why we have basically, we're basically the, top dog of this planet, because we're more adaptable than other species. When conditions change, we're
Yeah.
able to better adjust to the changes. And I think that's like such a fundamental thing we have to consider. Like one of the chapters in my book is about this encounter I had with a deer in the forest at a Buddhist monastery, and kind of how the monks view like life as being sacred in this way, and how we need to be better stewards over the land and the seas. And so one of my chapters is about the reason behind my vegan diet, standing up for animals, standing up for disadvantaged human communities when their neighborhoods are polluted by things that completely and are ecologically unsustainable. So I think that for me, COVID was literally the best thing that could have happened. And that probably sounds messed up when you think about it through the human perspective of me.
I've
But
heard
what
that
about
from a
Yeah.
lot of artists, actually.
What
a lot
about-
of artists have said that.
What about us, right? When our planet is impacted, and for the first time in like 75 years, like growing.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting was that, right? Like when the BP oil spilled in the Gulf of Mexico,
Yep.
and everyone was like on this company, right? The ocean saw sustained regrowth during that the oil was in the water, because the oil prevented fishing boats from fishing
screwing
there.
everything up.
Exactly. So the more we leave the planet alone, we saw the air clear up over China. So
Yeah.
I think it's one, how vulnerable we are as a species, and a message that we have to be taking better care of ourselves through better eating habits, eating food that actually nourishes us, going outside, like, being healthier as a species if we want to maintain what we're like doing here.
We're gluttons, man. The
generation.
human race, we're a bunch of gluttons. We use and abuse everything. And it's, we have to start thinking about sustainability. We should have been thinking about sustainability a long time ago. I mean, that's one of the things that got me involved in the cannabis movement, was the sustainability aspects behind it. But yeah, I honestly think maybe it'd be a good idea once a year. We have a mandatory 1 month shutdown. Everybody shuts down 1 month and let the world kind of, heal from all the damage we do over the year. Because
Great idea,
Yeah.
but no one's going to do.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's like, think about it like
Yeah,
this,
right?
right? If we start legislating away from things like plastic and fossil fuels, and use the hemp-based alternatives for all of these, right?
We
The
could save a
sustainable-
lot of the.
So much would be better.
But
That's
it's
the thing.
expensive. As long as it's expensive, the corporations are always going to
Of
choose
course.
do
Of
the
course.
whether it costs lives or not. I mean, technically, it's worse than murder. You think about it, they're the entire world.
Right.
Right.
And-
It leads to a lot more externalities, is I think saying. Yeah. 'Cause there's
I'm
no
not saying murder is okay to any listeners out
No,
there.
but there's no way to, like, a murder, like, see, like, oh, this person killed this person, but with environmental destruction, there's no way to even quantity, the damage being done, that's going to have a lasting impact.
Right, because it just keeps
like-
going and going and going and going.
Right.
And when does it
And
stop?
if these are like part of this, the theme, like with Maple Leaf, is that like we're all interconnected in this way where you know, I draw the line between my body and the external environment, like right here where my skin is, but like I can sense things that are out of myself. So there has to be obviously a more holistic definition of what our health means. It's not our internal body, it's the air around us. And like, you know, something like 90, I think fish have over like 90 different metals, like toxic found in their flesh because of these things that seep through our processes in the ocean. So
Yeah.
we are thinking about where our comes from and why we're using, my perspective is that we're using animals as middlemen, feeding them the food that would actually just nourish us, and then paying for it. Like right now, even though I'm vegan, my tax dollars are subsidizing like animal use on like farms, and I think that's like not okay. So my perspective is to help people embrace their own like love and compassion for themselves and the world, and start acting in a way where like they feel that they're actually making a difference. And
Because you're
I
a
think
health coach now too, right? This band has been a
yes,
health coach.
shout out to Wendy if you're watching. One of my clients and Lori said that they would be watching. But yeah, my girlfriend Tara and I, we do health coaching from the perspective of creative wellness, journaling when you wake up, writing love letters to yourself, making vision boards, eating healthy meals with foods that are not going to like bog you down, so that you can actually experience what it's like to be clear-headed and not be bloated and
I could do it.
control.
I couldn't
Take-
give up meat. I would never be able to
I
give
did
up meat.
okay when I did the juice cleanse.
Bacon. Like I'm Jewish. I'm not even supposed to eat bacon. I've already made the choice. Like I'm willing to go so I can eat bacon. I
Well,
don't
what if
know if you can change that in me. Like
What if I told you that you could have bacon without us needing to kill any animals?
okay, I'm interested.
Lab.
Ow.
So check this
I'm
out.
interested. Continue, salesman.
In the United Kingdom right now, there is meat for sale that was grown in a complete sterile, clean food laboratory.
I have
Just
heard
like
about this before.
just like the food laboratories where there's any kind of processed freezer you could think of, there is meat that is actual beef, and it's grown with the stem cells. So you get the advantage of not having to waste the land on a physical
Oh, I
cow.
get it. So it's like
Yeah, and it's the same thing, but it's cleaner meat. Like I've personally
I'd try it. I'd try that. I'd
I
try
mean, if
that.
you
Because-
didn't know about it and somebody gave it to you,
Even
then
if I
you-
knew about it, I've eaten some crazy shit in my life.
Sure.
If you've
Well-
eaten mushrooms, eat anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's like a really interesting opportunity here because, like, we need to, for the amount of pets that we have in America, we need to grow enough. We need animal protein, certain like obligor pets.
Right.
Cat can't eat plants that we know of and survive. But their digestive tracts are 12 times shorter than ours because they're carnivores. But so there's certain things that we can't just eradicate this altogether. And I do believe ultimately in karma, and I think that people can't be forced to do this. They sort of have to, it has to be a slower process where more and more people wake up.
It has to be
To-
just yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because your bodies can't handle it either. If we just okay, that's it. I'm vegan now. I'm not eating anything with a face anymore. I'm not eating meat anymore. I'm just gonna eat, beans and ants and this and that. You don't know what you're doing if you're not coached and shown the correct way. You can actually do some physical damage.
It was my mom's birthday, and it was later that day that I had seen that deer in the forest, and I basically had an emotional reaction where this is a mother deer protecting babies, and here I am, and she's like trusting me. It was my mom's birthday, and just the way I thought about it was like, oh, this is like, I can't do this anymore. So I did go cold turkey. I didn't have any like health problems, even though I didn't really know what I was doing or eating. But over time, it forced me to learn more about what I eat. And that is a really great thing. It's like, I believe in plant medicine because it forces you out of your comfort zone, but you know that you're going to be totally fine And the more information you have, as you said before, you become empowered to make the right decision versus doing like whatever is more convenient and just taking people's word for it on what's going into your food. Because it's
Right.
kind of like, it's kind of messed up, like the way they put certain parts of animals back into the feed that gets fed to animals
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
by meat. So the lab grown meat, like a party, like you want to have some red meat like without any of the unnecessary suffering or environmental destruction, and that way the quality will actually improve so much. And that's what people don't realize. This is a way to make cheese even better. It's not we're not taking them, like we're just helping to
Do you mean
streamline.
as in like nutritional wise better or
Yeah.
better?
I mean,
Nutrition-
it tastes better.
Yeah, you can make it taste better because obviously the fat content plays a huge role in that, but also like the muscles undergo stress, the animal undergoes stress when
Mhm.
it's on the farm, and so all that cortisol is built up in the tissue. And there's a better way you can it's really interesting, like it's almost like GMO corn, but they're doing this with meat in a way to optimize the protein content and the taste. It's like they're doing with the Beyond Burgers that don't have meat in them. Like
Right.
I
Yeah,
would
but
have never.
wasn't GMO corn like
It wasn't that the modification was wrong. For example, like carrots are a GMO. Like carrots didn't exist a couple like about 800 to 1,000 changed. Carrots like come from the yarrow plant, which is purple. And same thing with like corn, it was different, but it's actually the pesticides that they spread to keep the bugs away that creates harm. It's not modification in the organism, which is like a pretty like important thing I think to note. But yeah, it's fascinating. So yeah, that's my whole deal on
unhealthy eating?
It's gonna be. Is that gonna be your next book?
Thought about it. I think I'm gaining more confidence because no one can ever tell me that what I'm doing is wrong, because I am in the business of saving animals from harm, and that business will never be a bad thing.
No, you're
So,
right.
so I'm gaining more confidence in talking about it from that perspective of people make changes in their lives because of emotional, feelings. Like for me, you weren't going to reason or logic with me like Nick should really stop eating meat. It was I saw this deer, I had this moment.
You had an epiphany.
I had an epiphany, yeah. And I think that more people, as they draw the connection between their own pets, like people who are animal lovers, like there's actually a lot of science behind like empathy we exchange with animals, and a lot of the disharmony they experience in their life because they're out of congruence with this like I love animals.
That's why
here
wizards have familiars. I'm telling people this shit for years, man. Everybody needs a pet familiar to like chill and like connect with. It's energy.
For witches.
Yeah.
They all do it. Everybody needs one.
True.
Don't she me. Don't genderize my point, young Lee.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that with an animal, whether it's a male or a female dog, like you kind of just have that bond with the dog that is more about you and this other species understanding each other's situations. Like I can understand a dog's plight when it can't find its bone because of how frustrated I get when it can't find keys or something. Like right? the dog can see my emotion and comfort me, and I think it's about we can use other species to like help us through partnership rather than like basically forced
Killing and
servitude
eating them.
broader. Yeah, it's just like totally messed up. So
We're running out of time.
We are.
Cool.
All right. So before we get off the topic of animal abuse and I got one last question on that. How do you feel at King Kong versus Godzilla? Because that comes out tomorrow.
He's very excited about this.
I've
We
been
need
talking
your
about
opinion.
this movie for months, dude. Me and my kid like have a day set around it.
So all right, I'm gonna get super nerdy right now.
Do it.
I didn't even know this movie was. I didn't even know it was a thing. But in the battle between Godzilla and King Kong, there's a couple key factors. Right, Godzilla is very spiky to the touch, pretty sharp, and there's only a couple spots where he's kind of like vulnerable. Whereas King Kong is vulnerable all over this. However, he does have the advantage of ridiculously strong limbs and
Super
crazy
mighty strength, dude.
and he just got like one good double, chest thump on Godzilla's
Yep.
chest. Like,
Yep.
King Kong
It's
has
over.
it all day long. But I think that Godzilla has an advantage because he has a fifth appendage, like that big swinging tail.
Yeah.
So you know that they're gonna end up in the water at some point, and like apes can't.
Yeah,
So who
Godzilla
knows?
gets water advantage. And
Yeah.
he's nuclear powered or some shit. He's
Well, I
got.
thought they both were.
Oh, are they both radioactive?
I don't think King Kong can like shoot radioactive fire or
no.
anything out of his mouth.
Oh, Godzilla does breathe fire. I kind of forgot about that crucial element. But no,
I
King
don't
Kong
know
has
this one.
extremely
You're out of your
roar,
element,
so
Jessica. Shut up.
maybe King Kong's roar could he could use his voice as like a sound cannon and he could get Godzilla like right between these narrow streets in Tokyo and like use the street as a sound echo cannon to just blast out Godzilla.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with King Kong. I'm picking King Kong on this.
Yeah.
It's just my gut tells me that Hollywood.
You know why he's gonna win? 'Cause he's like he's the humanoid character in the
Yeah.
Godzilla